The Blade and the Brine, Part 2. Lord Pickle was raw. Clad in green leathers, his shirt was unlaced just enough to show part of his chest, where a line of ink crawled up from beneath it. All danger and disinterest, tall, broad, undeniably powerful. His eyes met Viola's with dark intensity, and they sparkled like a crisp lemon-lime soda. He was the one Lord Mayo had warned Viola about when she first arrived in Sandwich Kingdom, summoned by the enchanted flavors of the spicy East Coast Italian. She still couldn't fathom how an ordinary delivery girl would compete in the test of temptation, let alone survive them and save this magnificent world. She tried her best to slow her thudding heart in Pickle's presence. "You shouldn't trust so easily," he said, casting a look of disgust at Lord Mayo. The tests of temptation are more than ranch-drenched romps and scenic cheese tours. They're brutal and essential to the future of this kingdom. He fixated back on her. "You're not ready," Viola bristled. "Excuse me?" "Leave us," Mayo snapped, "or my sentries will drag you out." Pickle brushed off his words with smug elegance. Every instinct told her to be wary, to push back, to not be drawn in. But she couldn't help it. There was a dangerous sort of charm to him, a quiet, smoldering confidence. Beneath the cocky veneer was something ancient and thrumming, waiting to be unleashed. "I can help you survive," he said, speaking directly to Viola. "If you're willing to fight, find me in the Brine wood." And then he vanished without another word. The next morning, Viola slipped away from Mayo to meet Lord Pickle. She could feel something magnetic, almost instinctual, drawing her to him. Mayo had protected her, sure, but Pickle was challenging her, and she liked it. The forest was different here, darker, quieter. He was waiting, half-shadowed beneath a twisted tree, that wicked glint in his eye. "Ready to stop playing princess and start becoming a warrior?" he asked. Before she could answer, he reached behind him and held something out. Her first weapon, a pickle spear. She stared. "Seriously?" "Balance first," he said, wielding his like a staff. "A sword would snap your wrist in two. You need control." She rolled her eyes, but did as he commanded. She huffed, shifting her grip on the cold, crispy curve of her weapon. "Do all warriors start with brine vegetables?" His mouth twitched and he grinned. "Only the good ones." Pickle moved like a creature born of combat, fluid, unbothered, dangerous, even in stillness. She, by contrast, was all flailing limbs and sarcastic mutters, but she kept coming back. Day after day they trained, sloshing through swamps of pickle juice, posture corrected with a stern touch of his calloused fingers at her hips or the back of her neck. He took his time adjusting her form, his palms always lingering a moment longer than necessary. She hated how she craved it, had to stop herself from leaning into it. The longer she was with Lord Pickle, the more distant Lord Mayo felt. Like every glance, every charged moment was a quiet betrayal of the safety she had once clung to. He looked at her like he saw all the parts she kept hidden, the girl wrought with self-doubt, who was always late, always lost, never enough. Pickle knelt beside her as she lay on the ground exhausted. She rose to her knees and they were face to face. "Why are you really helping me?" she asked, voice barely above a whisper. His expression didn't falter. No smirk, no mask. "Because I believe in you." The words struck her like a tide and something broke open in her chest, primal and aching and completely unguarded. The air between them pulsed, desperate. She licked her lips, and his gaze tracked the motion like a predator watching prey. At that moment she lunged forward, pressing her lips to Lord Pickle's, tasting that belief, that promise, that brine. His arms wrapped around her waist, pulling her flesh against him as she arched into his body, like she'd been waiting for this moment, like it was fate. At the first taunting stroke, he was hers entirely. His eyes were burning a molten green, feral and wanting. As he lowered her onto the soft, crumbling earth, she drank in the crush of him, raw, relentless, and the slick, desperate press of his juicy lips as they devoured hers. Still, it wasn't enough. She was ravenous for him, for his brine. "I've been craving this," she whispered, voice barely more than a steam against his skin. And those words were his undoing. In the shadows of the brine wood, with salt tangled in her hair and a hunger laced in every breath, she wasn't the outsider. She wasn't the heir to a crown or a pawn in some tests of temptation. She was his, and he was hers. Viola's heart ached with the weight of choice. Lord Mayo offered her sanctuary, safety, and royalty. But Lord Pickle, he was something else entirely. Wild and untamed. With him, she felt a sense of power and freedom she hadn't known she was longing for. As the test of temptation loomed near, only one thing was certain. Even if she outlasted, she might not survive choosing between them. This has been The Blade and the Brine.